What's going on, everybody? Ah, man. So I have been trying to figure out the best way to communicate this part of my story and kind of give you guys an update on kind of where I'm going with the Military Bottom Line podcast, YouTube channel, and platform as a whole. So I tried writing it out a couple times. I tried like kind of gathering the thoughts to best articulate it, just because it's been an emotional and difficult year for me, and trying to adequately communicate that so you guys understand a little bit has proven more difficult than I thought. So basically, I just kind of want to give you guys an idea of why I've been doing pretty much no interview podcast format for the past probably about 2 to 3 months now, which I didn't really intend for it to be that long, but it just kind of ended up working that way. And so in order to kind of catch you guys up, I want to backtrack a little bit. I've shared some of my stories, kind of pre-military, during active duty Marine Corps, and I want to catch you up where I left the active duty Marine Corps in 2015, and I went on to go to college and kind of thought I was going to be a doctor. That was my childhood kind of hope and dream. And so while I was pursuing my education out in California in 2017, I decided that I did not want to be a doctor and that I instead wanted to pursue flying in the Air National Guard. And so in 2017, I kind of put all my eggs into that basket. I dropped the program I was in to find the quickest avenue to get a bachelor's degree so I would qualify for flying before I aged out. Since I had already done enlisted time, the age component becomes pretty important at that point. And so in 2017, I committed to basically getting a basket weaving degree so I could be eligible and I could start dropping applications as soon as possible. And then finished my degree in 2000, ended 2018, 2019. And then 2019, 2020, I was working and interviewing and applying, and ultimately got hired and was super stoked. Honestly, I did not really I thought it would happen, but there was a struggle with maybe imposter syndrome of not knowing if it would happen, but I was committed to the cause. I was committed to the process. And so to get hired, to get two offers at that was super significant. I mean, I put a lot of work into it. I kind of threw away plan B, threw away other options because I needed to ensure I qualified before I got too old. And knowing that paid off, that gamble had paid off, meant a lot to me. And so I was super excited. During this time period, I got married and we kind of had, the 5-10 year plan all written out. And so I started this podcast in 2020 during COVID, when I was kind of preparing to go to flight school and I was still jumping through the hoops for eligibility and qualifications and things like that. And so knowing that I was going to spend another 10 years in the military, I thought, it's okay to make my identity part of the military, or make my identity. It's okay to identify with the military, because up until that point, I kind of not really used it as my identity. If you go on my personal Instagram, I don't think there's a single picture of me in uniform on there. I could be wrong. Maybe there's one, but it was not something I really wanted to identify with for the long term. And so starting like a military platform online was kind of like committing to, the military is going to be my identity. And I'll give into that. And so in 2021, last year, that door kind of closed abruptly for reasons outside of my control. And so that kind of led me to an existential crisis of now I've got this platform where I'm like, oh, I'm like this military, person. And then not only that, I had a wife and a kid at that point, and that my plan A for a career had kind of fallen through. I didn't have a plan B. And so it kind of, ensued for a difficult year and difficult transition, and basically a military transition that I wasn't prepared for. And so, the first time I got out, I was prepared for that. I had, um, I had worked towards that, but this time I kind of put all my eggs in this basket of doing the National Guard flying program. And so when that didn't work out, I was like, oh crap, I got to figure out what's next. And so it felt a lot like I was transitioning again, um, unintentionally. And so it just got to the point where it's like, I can stay in and I can pursue a different job, but it wasn't the military that I wanted. I didn't want to stay in the military just for the career. I mean, that was never part of the plan. It was just for the flying aspect. And so, at that point in time, priorities were totally different. It was, it wasn't just about me anymore. It wasn't just about what I thought would be fun or thought would be cool. I then, at this point in time, had a wife and a kid to think about. And so, staying in the military was no longer convenient, really. I mean, it was no longer the ideal option. Like, I didn't want to just take a crappy job or try to go to a different branch to fly that would potentially let me. And so I decided that it was best to get out, focus on the family, focus on developing a civilian career, and kind of realizing like, okay, I'm going to have to go back to school, or I'm going to have to do something different. And, there's going to be work and a process to get to where I want to go. And I had to reorient and kind of draw out what my life goals and my career plans were. And so that's kind of, just a big difficult mix that was, the end of last year. And so that's another reason why I stopped doing interviews, was because it's so time consuming. I mean, it's tremendously time consuming to be constantly on Instagram, talking with other people, hearing their stories, and like trying to find guests for every week. And so selfishly, I wanted to change the focus a little bit of, learning from other people in their military career, because I wasn't really concerned with developing a military career as much as I was concerned with, okay, what are the benefits available to me via the VA that I can now use to ensure career success and a smooth transition into a civilian career. And so that's why I kind of stepped back from the podcasting and the interviewing to kind of double down onto the YouTube content, where I can talk about, what benefits are there. And that's why I jumped into VRE, jumped into some of the GI Bill stuff. I'm going to be jumping into the VA loan stuff for you guys pretty soon. And so that, there's a selfish ambition to the creating, whether or not you want to, network with people, or you hope to make a couple bucks on YouTube, which is, that hourly rate's pretty bad right now. So, that's definitely not the reason. But I think, I wanted multiple reasons to research benefits. And I know that I've learned a lot throughout the process. And I know it's a very complicated arena. And so I wanted to share what I learned with you guys. And so that's really where that change of focus came from. And it's not that I don't want to do the podcast anymore. It's actually something that I am going to be picking back up, but it's going to be in a different capacity. And so instead of doing a podcast every week and a YouTube video on a benefit when I get the chance, it's going to be flopped. And so I want to do a YouTube video on a VA benefit and help you guys learn more about those opportunities, and then do interviews and podcasts on a regular basis, but more so when people approach me about being on the podcast, rather than me having to spend a lot of time kind of vetting people to be on the podcast. And so yeah, I'm at this point I'm transitioned out completely. I'm working on a civilian career, and I'm excited I'm going to start a series as I kind of learn more. I'm working to get my GI Bill approved for an apprenticeship within or career in real estate. And so that's something I'm really excited about. And as I learn more about how to get the GI Bill approved for a program that is not already approved, I think that's something that will be very valuable to a lot of people. And so it's going to be some work trying to figure out how to get the VA to work like that. And so, but it's all fun. I'm enjoying the process of creating. I'm enjoying the process of all of this, and hearing from you guys, and hearing that you guys have learned from the stuff that I've put out there, learned from the podcast episodes, the conversations I've had, is super encouraging. And so I'm I'm stoked that you guys are enjoying and getting any value out of this. So, I guess the lesson is that in all of this is that not everything works out. And so, over the past year, it's definitely been difficult in accepting that the whole flying career wasn't in the cards for me. But at this point, after, basically mourning that loss in a sense, and realizing that I don't know if I want to fly as much as I think I wanted to. It just seems like a good target career to focus on, to aim for, and make it happen. And so, I'm proud of where I got with it. But it didn't end up working out, and that's okay. I'm excited about the new career track I'm on. I'm pretty honestly, I'm pretty stoked to be not in the military anymore, for a number of reasons, but mostly just the family being the priority. And so yeah, so that's pretty much it. I didn't know how to communicate that. Hopefully that all made sense as I just kind of rambled and didn't really prepare that message at all, but wanted to put it out there. And so I hope you guys forgive me for not putting out podcast episodes on a weekly basis. I hope you guys understand. And I hope you guys are finding value in the videos I do put out on YouTube and the audios I put out via the podcast. So if you guys want to, support the channel, support the podcast, just subscribe wherever you're listening to it, whether it be on YouTube or Spotify or Apple or wherever you're tuning in. I really appreciate you guys and your support. And I do hope to continue to add value to you guys via these VA benefits and soon to be more conversations with veterans or those currently serving, because there's still so much to learn. And, whether or not you're transitioning into the military or transitioning out of the military, we can always learn from those people that are, before us. And so thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned for a video coming out soon. Talk to you guys later. Peace.